In with us, getting into the NBA now, guys. Steph Curry and the Warriors hosting Ja Morant and the Grizzlies tonight in the 7-8 matchup, the play-in tournament. Golden State is hoping this is the year they escape the tournament after failing to do so in their previous 3 attempts. If they win tonight, they'll move on to face the Rockets in the first round. Chene, Marcus, back here with us. Chene, who's under the most pressure to win tonight? Steph, Jimmy, or Dre?
There's only one player, I think, out of all NBA players that guaranteed a championship, and that was Draymond Green.
Yes.
I think he's under the most pressure, but he thrives in those situations. It's almost like he's manifesting it for himself. Look, if you think about the squad, you know Steph is going to show up, knock down threes. Jimmy Butler, one of the fiercest competitors the NBA has seen this generation. Draymond has his hands full, especially this year, considering he's done a great job. He's literally manifested himself to Defensive Player of the Year contention. Ever since Jimmy Butler arrived, the Golden State Warriors have held their opponents to the 3rd fewest points per game. That is a lot of Draymond, which is great. It's a part of the wins, but also that is part of the pressure that Draymond has brought on himself.
And I agree. Listen, if I'm Draymond Green, just because I know who he is and he has that same fire I have, I'm going off a limb and saying the same exact thing. We're going to win a championship. We got Jimmy Butler, right? I think, yes, it's pressure to win tonight, but if they don't win tonight, they still have a chance to get out of the play-in. It's more pressure of getting out of the play-in altogether, right? They still will get a #1 seed if they got the 8th seed in OKC, which I think they still can beat. If they get the Rockets, I think they still can beat the Rockets, right? It's pressure to win. But I'm with Draymond. I love what he did. I love that he stepped out on a limb and took up for his guys and say, listen, we're going to win a championship tonight. And I'm in this year, and I'm with him, right? But they do need their rest. They do have some banged up guys. So it would help them to get out of tonight. But even if they didn't get out of tonight, I still see them getting out of play-in and still see them getting past the first round. Either way.
Well, I'm glad that you're with them. I'm very touched. It's very, very, very nice that you're with them. Be with them when they fall. Because if they fall, particularly in the play-in, you're going to be right there with them. That's all right. The point is, it's not the end of the world. This is a 4-time champion. He, by the way, is getting my vote for Defensive Player of the Year. I'm turning in my vote in the next hour. So, brother is the Defensive Player of the Year. He's got my vote. But we also saw that same guy that I'm voting for Defensive Player of the Year, who guaranteed a championship, who helped the Golden State Warriors finish 20-7 since that guarantee, who missed a layup that could have ended up winning the game on Sunday against the Clippers. So I understand it happens. But that's my point. See, when you're talking about greatness and you're talking about these, because all of y'all are the creme de la creme. Millions upon millions of people wish they were in the position you were in, the position he's in. So we're talking about you versus your great contemporaries. Not you against me, not you against cats that can't play. We're talking about you amongst the elite. Well, guess what you got to be a champion? Elite. So when you talk it, you got to back it up. And when you don't back it up, that has to be mentioned too, while appreciating the greatness that you have, which is why in the same breath we can look at Draymond Green and say, Defensive Player of the Year. This Warriors team can't win without that brother. This brother's a 4-time champion. Oh, by the way, get ready to get him ready for the Hall of Fame. He's going to the Hall of Fame, and he deserves it. All of those things can be true. But damn, you missed that layup on Sunday. We really need that big-time 3-point shot you made from the right corner a few minutes earlier. But we really, really needed that layup. You really, really needed to avoid that play-in. And if you end up losing in the play-in and you could have avoided it, people are going to remember that too. That's how it goes.
But also, Stephen A., speaking of matchups, you have to give him his credit because during the Warriors' heyday of winning multiple championships, they played small ball. They inspired the rest of the NBA to play small ball, and that was because Draymond Green was able to switch onto anybody. He's going to be called upon to do exactly that, especially tonight, which is why the pressure is on him, but most importantly, moving forward in the Western Conference. We saw what Zubats did to the Golden State Warriors, 22-17. That's why the pressure is on Draymond.
They played small ball, but Andrew Bogut wasn't small. Jaja Pajulia wasn't small.
Yeah, but you plugged them in here and there because of the matchup, right? And let's go back. Listen, he did miss a layup, but that doesn't take away his greatness. His greatness is defined of being a great leader, a great player amongst other great players and a defensive side, of being able to actually be one of the first guys that started the small ball, right? He was one of the first guys that you were allowed to play at the 5. So just because he missed that layup, yes, you want him to not play in the play-in. This is their story. He tried to finish over a guy that was way bigger than him. It wasn't like he was just wide open. He had contact. It was contested. Right. Guys miss open shots for wins. So that doesn't define if he's great or not. That doesn't define. I mean, listen, we all miss layups. I've missed.
Last point.
Facts.
There's an epitaph that's written and people chronicle your career. And that's the kind of speech that you get ready to give, Marcus, when the career is said and done and we're celebrating this brother walking into the Hall of Fame.
Easily.
But you don't say it now when you got a playing game tonight that you really shouldn't have had, and you got this going down.
Okay.
Under on Steph Curry tonight is 28.5 points. You going over or under?
I'm going over, like him when he's shooting behind the three-point line, because that is his post-Jimmy Butler number. Again, going from 22 prior to Jimmy to 27 after. That means it's the law of averages. He's probably going to go above that, especially knowing that this is a big game. He wants to continue to find ways to rest, especially if they win this one.
Marcus Morris, Jimmy Butler's number is 21.5 points. Last seen limping on Sunday. Over or under?
I like Jimmy Buckets to go over, right? He understands he needs to be aggressive offensively. Against the Clippers, he had 30 points. So I know he understands the importance of winning this game, and they need him to score in this team. So I'm taking the over.
And then, Shanae, how about Ja on the other side? His number, 27.5 for Mr. Morant. Over or under?
Respectfully, I'm going to say the under, and I take this from his opponent, Steph Curry. Steph Curry said, it's not how many you make, it's when you make them. And Ja Morant is one of the best at that. It's a momentum play, it's a steal to a dunk, it's a block to a crossover. Those are the type of plays that will keep them in this game. So I'm going under respectfully.
Look, I mean, this play-in has been an outstanding addition for the NBA. I think that is almost unanimously agreed upon. The reality, however, of it is surviving and advancing. It has sort of an NCAA tournament kind of feel. So I'm going to, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you describe your level of confidence that the Warriors win? This is a Warriors team. People are talking about winning the West. They got to win one game tonight before they can even think about that. Otherwise, their season could end on Friday. 10 is the most confident you can be. What is your level of confidence?
I'm going to say 9, right? I'm going to give them 9 because I believe that the Grizzlies will give them a dogfight, right? I think the Grizzlies are a really good team. But after the top 3 guys, I don't think that they have any experience after that, right? I think that the Warriors understand getting that extra break really helps them. You know what I mean? They are banged up with injuries. So I think they lay it on the line right here to give everything they got, and they cruise into the 7th seed.
Yeah, again, a reminder for those who don't know, the losers of the 7-8 games wind up playing for their lives on Friday and then turning around and playing when the playoffs begin just very quickly after that. Shanae, how confident are you about the Warriors tonight?
Look, I'm not going to go 9, but I'll go 8.5. I'll go 8.5.
It's higher than I expected from either of you. Jimmy Butler, when last seen, Jimmy G. Buckets was limping around the floor the other day. That's 2 days ago. It's not 2 weeks ago.
But also, he's one of the toughest in the NBA, and I think they expect him. That's the play right there, taking the knee by Kawhi Leonard. A lot of people are concerned because, you know, with injuries, sometimes you hit that knee and then it puffs up and all that type of situation. But thank goodness we don't think that that's the case.
It's like a contusion, like a thigh contusion.
Good word.
So, but I mean, look,
they got stuff for that, Greeny. They got stuff to take care of that.
They do have stuff for that.
What stuff do they have for that? Because candidly, I'm in pain all the time.
Many massage therapists, medicine, they got it.
Yeah, they got it.
All right, so you were saying, so Jimmy, you think Jimmy is fine tonight?
Yeah, I think Jimmy plays. I think Jimmy, he goes out. He knows the importance, right? He's in a position where he went to Golden State.
That's why they brought him
for
here.
Something, right? He stayed in that game, so I think he will be okay. I mean, I don't see him limping.
I asked this one also of Shanae advisedly, and I say that because she is from Houston. The winner tonight gets the Rockets in the first round of the playoffs. The loser tonight is playing for the right to play OKC. How much of a difference, putting your own civic fandom aside, how much of a difference is that?
Look, a lot of people might say that if the Warriors win this game, they actually got the favorable path.
Right.
The basketball gods of Spalding and Wilson might have blessed them because they avoided OKC, which I said is literally a defensive buzzsaw. If you look at the defensive categories, they're number one.
Everything.
Then they've got the #1 player in SGA, who, like I said, wakes up and has 30-piece. And then, of course, they've got, J-Dub, and they've got multiple players. So the Warriors going up and getting this one win. You saw how much they wanted to win the final game of the regular season versus the Los Angeles Clippers. This is a beauty of the play-in. They want to be able to advance because they know that their path is so much smoother. They also avoided the Lakers by virtue of that loss.